After Kevin Holland's first-round submission loss to Reiner de Ridder, many fans suggested Kevin move back down to welterweight. Reiner de Ridder was 22 pounds heavier than Kevin on fight day. It looks like Kevin will be officially moving back down. Kevin will be fighting Gunnar Nelson at UFC Fight Night on March 22nd at welterweight. Gunnar Nelson has been inactive since March of 2023. Who do you guys got for this one? Do you think Kevin will be better off at welterweight? Post your takes in the comments. On to some more fight news. Alexandre Pantoja is set to defend his flyweight title against Kai Kara France in the co-main event of UFC 314. At the moment, the main event for UFC 314 is not official. However, this week, Bo Nickel said that he knows for a fact it's the rematch between Ilia Topuria and Alexander Volkanovski. Daniel Cormier questions Israel Adesanya's motivation ahead of his fight against Nasruddin Imavov. Back when Izzy fought Kelvin Gastelum, right before the 5th round, Izzy mouthed to himself, "I'm prepared to die." After that fight, Izzy went on to become the champion by defeating Robert Whittaker, and then went on to defend his title multiple times. DC wonders if Izzy still has that same level of motivation, now that he's extremely well off financially. On Good Guy, Bad Guy, DC said, so like when that moment happens, like against Kelvin Gastelum, and he was in the corner in the 5th round and went, "I'll die for this," and he was like mouthing to himself, "I'll die for this, I'll die for this." He had money. He was a kickboxing champion, but he was fighting for an interim championship with the opportunity to get Robert Whittaker to become the unified champion. He didn't have money at the rate that he has right now. He didn't have the zeros in the bank account. He didn't have the accolades. He did not have the notoriety. He'll find himself in that 4th to 5th round with Imavov this weekend and have to dig deep, knowing that nothing changes if he doesn't, right? Nothing changes. Israel Adesanya will still be a star if he wins or he loses. Israel Adesanya will still collect the same paycheck on Saturday night if he loses. The money that he has in his bank remains the same. All of his investments and properties will remain the same. How does he pull back to that moment when he didn't have all those things, if need be? I never fought in my life in a 5-round main event that wasn't for a championship, and I've got to be honest, I don't think that I could. I don't think I could have went 25 minutes without knowing that there was a shiny gold belt waiting on the end of that, because it's hard to pull the dog out of you whenever you don't get that thing that means so much when the night's over. Shara Bullet will make his 5th walk to the UFC octagon this weekend at UFC Saudi Arabia. He says he feels much more comfortable now as a UFC fighter. Shara is fighting Michael Venom Page. This will be MVP's 3rd fight in the UFC. Shara says he plans to make MVP uncomfortable and force him to change his style.
Yes, I'm very happy to be back. I once had a dream to at least fight 1 time in the UFC, and now this is my 5th time. So now, the goal is to get my 5th victory, and then now I have a new dream. The new dream is to have 10 fights in the UFC, 10 victories in the UFC, and then we'll think of something new. No, I'm very, very little nerves compared to the beginning, and I know what to expect. There's the media day, there's the weigh-ins, there's the whole process, but just to be back in the atmosphere of the UFC, they really take care of the fighters a lot. From the very beginning, the food, the equipment, the organization, everything is great. So it's good to be in this organization, and once I come out there, the idea is just to show the fans an exciting fight, and we're prepared, we're ready. On February 1st, you'll see everything. Yeah, probably not very comfortable to try and find a key to victory to somebody who's so uncomfortable, but my style is not any better either. I think he's going to be the one who's going to have an issue. I'm the pirate. I'm going to be inside there. I'm going to train him. With every punch, he's going to learn to figure out a way that he's being tamed by the pirate. And so once he learns, he's going to probably try and change his style to get more comfortable. I don't think it's going to be something that we've prepared. I think it's going to be something unexpected. This is going to be something that we're going to fight in the middle of the fight, or like during the fight, during the duration of the fight. Because when I'm inside there, I don't even know what to expect from myself. So potentially maybe it's something that we worked on, but really I think that it's going to be unexpected, unpredictable. I think I'm already pretty close over there because I got a big name in front of me, a very known fighter, and so I'm already where I need to be. And so now if I keep winning, that everybody is going to be on my radar, everybody's going to be in front of me, nobody's going to escape of me. So the pirate is here and is going to come for everybody.
Ahead of his fight against Jairzinho Rozenstruik this weekend, Sergei Pavlovich says he is not concerned with fans who have stopped supporting him after he lost 2 fights in a row. Sergei's first loss was in his interim heavyweight title fight against Tom Aspinall, where Tom KO'd him in the 1st round. He then lost to Alexander Volkov via unanimous decision this past June. Speaking to media, Sergei said, "Of course I felt it. I felt that some people turned away, but I don't pay them too much attention. I want to thank personally the people that have stayed, that supported me through this. For them, I want to do this. And those people who came and went and whatever, I'm not worried about that." He's a very explosive guy. He's very fast. He has a lot of experience. So you have to be ready for anything when it comes to him. And I'm ready for all 3 rounds. Tyron Woodley explains why he has recently signed with the GFL. Tyron says it pretty much comes down to the revenue split. GFL has announced that it will be a 50-50 split with the fighters. On the athlete benefits section of the GFL website, it states there will be a 50-50 revenue share. Athletes earn a fair share of the revenue generated from events. Ensuring their success is directly linked to the league's success.
What made me say yes to it was really the revenue split, because when you start looking at gates and you start looking at what other organizations are bringing in, and I always knew the numbers for the fighters. I always knew who made the most. I always knew. That was kind of like my intangible going into negotiations. So when I saw that, I'm like, you know what you're really saying you're about to do, right? He's like, yeah. I said, so if we build up this brand and it takes off and people come and watch and they view and the revenue is very handsome, that means we're going to get paid. And he was like, you should. I looked at that and I got a pretty decent guarantee regardless, but my goal is to try to do everything within my power, use all forms of art, use all the kitchen sink to make it even more, so that when I'm making is even more than what I'm guaranteed to make.
Jairzinho Rozenstruik fights Sergei Pavlovich at UFC Saudi Arabia this weekend. Jairzinho is currently ranked 9th in the heavyweight division. Sergei is ranked 4th. Jairzinho plans to beat Sergei, take his spot in the rankings, and then work his way up to a title shot. He says if Sergei makes any mistakes in the fight will be over.
I mean, you can take everything away. Like, you can take everything. You see everything. You've been there. They trained with him 2 years. So, I've seen a lot. I've trained with him a lot. We've been training partners. So, yeah. I mean, I improve a lot of my wrestling. I don't know if I needed this fight, but if I need it, I can use it. So I'm not shy to bring that out, you know. But we'll see what the fight brings, and if I really need it, I'm having it. So you have a lot of aggressive fighters. The way to stop them is to punch them in the face, of course, and then yeah, we go from there. The reaction will decide. I'm bringing the fight to him, definitely. He wanna win, so he has to come forward, you know. So the way I see this fight, any mistake he makes, the fight's over. Win this Saturday, put me on the number 4 ranking in the world. That means I'm fighting one more guy before I can talk about the title, or I can jump right in there looking for the title shot. So that's where I see myself end of 2025.
Sean Strickland absolutely went off on Khamzat Chimaev today. Sean and Khamzat used to be friendly with each other. They trained together at Extreme Couture a few years back. However, as of recently, the relationship took a turn. Sean has been very critical of Khamzat over his alleged crypto scams and his relationship with the head of the Chechen Republic, Ramzan Kadyrov. Speaking to MMA Junkie, Sean said, "Big shot Chimaev. He's a Chechnyan f***ing Anybody who fights that guy is going to get a f***ing paycheck, dude. The f***ing Chechnyan He went hard and he fought a f***ing guy who came out really f***ing flat and doesn't give a f***. Rob is known to either be a f***ing superstar or a f***ing can, and he was a f***ing can. He was just met with too much pressure. After I'm done with f***ing Chimaev, he's f***ing to go back to peddling f***ing crypto scams. Can Chimaev fight? Yeah, he can fight, but you're not a f***ing man. I know you're not a man. You know you're not a man. The whole world knows you're not a f***ing man." Sean also had words for Islam Makhachev today. Islam recently said that he wanted to move up to middleweight to become a double champion. Islam said after watching Dricus du Plessis fight, he's confident that he has the keys to beat him. Sean thinks otherwise. Sean continued, "You're a little man, bro. You ain't gonna wrestle me, dog. He's this f***ing big, dog. It ain't gonna happen. Go back to f***ing Dagestan, bro. Calm down." Ahead of his fight against Nasruddin Imavov this weekend, Israel Adesanya says he is not concerned about winning the belt again. This is Izzy's first non-title fight since he fought Anderson Silva back in 2019. Izzy says he's more focused on the impact he will have in the sport of MMA. He adds that he could lose his next 10 fights, and it will not change the history that he has made.
Champion definitely isn't just defined by the belt. You know, there's guys in this game that I consider them champions, and they've never held a belt. But a champion is defined by character, in and out of the octagon, in and out of the cage, the way they fight, the way they carry themselves. It doesn't have to be some fake bull, fake humble, like, oh, you know, holier than thou, a role model. Nah, I'm talking like someone who's real, someone who keeps it real. A champion, a legend goes beyond that. I'd say a legend in the game has to do with longevity. I'd say longevity or impact. What kind of impact have you had on the game? Yeah, and a champion, I'd say, is just how you carry yourself in and out of the cage. And a legend is the kind of impact, long-lasting impact you've had on the game. Thanks for that question. That was a good one. This is an important fight for me, but it's for me. Like I said to Oscar before, I could lose my next 10 fights and it wouldn't, you know, dim my history or anything. But this fight is important for me, not for anyone else. I'm doing this to prove to myself, you know, I'm still involved in this game. I'm still getting better and I'm still very dangerous. So yeah, I'm doing this one for me.
Dana White is not happy with Bryce Mitchell today, to say the least. Bryce made some comments about the leader of Germany during World War II. I can't say his name because if I do, odds are YouTube will flag this video. Anyways, today Bryce said that he thinks this man was a good guy. Dana White is absolutely furious over these comments. During a Power Slap press conference today, here's what Dana had to say in response.
So before we get started here, let me get some dumb out of the way first here. I'm out here, have fun doing Power Slap tonight. And I'm sure you guys heard what Bryce Mitchell said. If you haven't, he said some I've heard a lot of dumb, ignorant shit in my day, but this one's probably the worst. When you talk about he's responsible for the death of 6 million Jews, and he tried to completely eliminate a race of people. World War II was the deadliest war in history. 15 million military deaths, 45 million civilians, and 25 million soldiers were killed in World War II. Second of all, he was one of the most disgusting and evil human beings to ever walk the face of the earth, and anyone that even tries to take an opposing position is a moron. That's the problem with the internet and social media. You provide a platform for a lot of dumb, ignorant people. We've obviously reached out to Bryce, and when we read what he said and let him know how we feel about it, we're beyond disgusted. For all of you that hate Bryce Mitchell, you get to see him hopefully get his ass whooped on global television. I mean, what do you want me to say about it? You know where I am with free speech. We're disgusted by it. I think he's probably one of the dumbest, literally one of the dumbest human beings. He's stupid. He's dumb. You can't fix dumb people. You know what I mean? When you have somebody that's really, really stupid, and that's who we're talking about here, what do you do? How do you talk sense to a dummy? You don't.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Mike Haywood. It says, it's funny hearing Shara say do not blink when he can only wink. The second one's from Solo696. It says, Conor is getting worse at his Twitter warrior banter. The downfall is sad to see. And the final one's from Chris Danks. It's in reference to Shara Bullet saying that MVP is a kickboxer, so he only lightly taps his opponents. It says in quotes, they lightly tap. MVP literally crushed a dude's skull, bro. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.